Hi everybody, Matt Lawton here. This is the Astrological Winds channel, and I'm going to take a look at the astrological weather report for April 4th through the 10th this week. And in case you missed it, I posted the monthly report for April this past weekend on YouTube and all the other various places on the podcasts and stuff. So highly recommend picking that one up. As I go, there's a big month for monthly stuff in April, so I felt like I needed to separate the two blogs. A lot of times I can get the monthly and the weekly or the first week of the month in on the same blog, and I didn't really feel I could do that in a good amount of time that wouldn't go way beyond the normal time of the podcasts and blogs. So just want to let you know that. So just check it out. It should be like if you're on YouTube, it should be the episode right before this one. And there's some big stuff happening in April. So anyway, this week is an interesting week too, April 4th through 10th. There's few things I want to mention going on. But in general, and the first thing I want to do too, just a little official business out of the way. The best way to contact me for readings or any other reason is mattHue823@gmail.com. That's my email, mattHue@gmail.com. And if you have Instagram, though, you can look up Astrological Winds channel. And if you're following me on YouTube and some of the podcasts, you can make comments. And that's always a way to get my attention too. I usually see that. So I'll get some more finer details, but some people are telling me, oh, how do I get in touch with you? And I'm like, oh, I put it at the end of the blog. And then I realized they were like, oh, sometimes I don't make it to the end. So just get that a little bit of general information out of the way first. But in general, this week's a good week to make some kind of detailed plan for the long term, to build something up and take actions and steps that are going to get you moving in that direction. Basically, what we have is Mars and Mercury and Saturn and Eris are all working together this week. And Jupiter with the North Node and South Node will also kind of help this week. So in general, that's what it's going to be a week about. But there's also the inner planets are changing signs. Venus is going to go into Pisces, which is where it's exalted, and Mercury is going to go into Taurus. And so some interesting stuff going on. But so right now, Monday is the exact Mars-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. And on Tuesday, tomorrow, pretty much at the same time, and I talked about this in the monthly that I did yesterday or on the weekend that I highly recommend you check out, because Saturn will be squaring the nodal axis too this month, and that's one of the big events of the month. But Mars is squaring the nodal axis exact tomorrow. So really, this whole week is about a lot, but this kicks the energy off of that energy of it's not an easy assignment. It's a tough task. It has a lot to do with taking the actions required to build something up for the long term. So there's no immediate payoff. Saturn requires a lot of patience. It wants something that's a solid foundation, that's reliable, that is going to last a long time. So the actions that we need to do right now are steady and slow, and having this attitude that we're looking for some kind of long-term result, long-term goal, and with that energy too, there's a great focus. Mars and Saturn together can really concentrate and focus energy very well. So there's this opportunity to really get those plans and those steps, those step-by-step steps that you want to plan some reliable, steady future for, get them like, you know, the focus and concentration of the details is available under the energy of the Mars-Saturn square conjunction. So there's this opportunity to use that, and it brings a very disciplined kind of mindset, and releases energy in a slow and steady way. But there is, a few things that can be like really tough about the Mars Saturn. And the first of which is that, you can feel really restricted in your actions, like really wanting to move ahead faster and whatever it may be. In this case, I think with Saturn, many times it's authorities or people who have some kind of authority or influence in your life are actually somehow inhibiting you or slowing you down. And that definitely can create a lot of inner anger and resentment, that kind of thing, towards people that you perceive, or even the circumstances themselves. Here's the thing though, Mars Saturn too is all about recognizing that a lot of that has to do with our own past actions, and that like the consequences of them are occurring now. So like, based on, those actions, different reactions are occurring in different people in situations that, we may feel blocked and restricted now by those situations in the present, but like the past actions we took are likely the thing that got us the consequences or results that are making us feel blocked right now. So, but like I said, there's a real, we really want to use this energy as well as we can to build something solid out of it, instead of like, steaming in like inner anger and resentment about seemingly being held down by circumstances or others. And we will get some assists in doing that this week from Mercury and Eris. They're both going, on Thursday and Friday actually is when these ones will be exact, but but really I think we'll start to feel these effects all week, and and kind of have the ability to work with it all week. But basically Mercury is going to be sextiling Saturn on Thursday and conjuncting Eris, and at the same time Mars is sextiling Eris too. So Mercury Saturn is just like great. Mercury sextile Saturn is just great. It's exactly what we need to pull that energy of focus and concentration in, to create an ideal plan for ourselves, or a detailed plan, I should say, for ourselves, and to organize things and get things together, to use the information, the expertise, the experiences that we've had, that we know how reality functions, and and we can learn from mistakes we've made, turn that into things that now these issues that come up, we know how to deal with them with with this experienced outlook. So we can really use the knowledge that we have now to really make a detailed plan. Mercury and Saturn together, and knows what tools to use, knows, what the operator's manual basically is, that kind of thing, and has that knowledge, and then the ability, Saturn, to apply that knowledge and those plans into it. And I think, it's interesting because, it values like conservative, knowing that work has to be done and practical things have to be taken care of and that kind of thing. And it's a sextile, so it's a little soft in the sense of like, oh, you know, it's opportunities and you get to choose whether to take them or not. But I think with the Mars Saturn fueling kind of like this desire to stabilize something for the long term, this is such an ally, this other aspect to work with that and do that. And then where do we get that impetus from to take the opportunities? That's where the conjunction to Eris comes in, and Mars sextiling Eris. That's where, this desire to change, like to bring some changes into our lives and be receptive and willing to do that is really going to be how Eris will operate in this. So she'll kind of like give us the proper attitude, the proper approach, and maybe even some more knowledge, and then the sextile to Mars shows like, okay, I'm ready, to take these opportunities to make these changes. So, so I really think this whole work week, Monday through Friday, can be even into Saturday, because Saturday is Saturn's day, and so this is a, week where we can really, can be used, for this energy to start up like new projects, new ventures, new structures in your life that you're having a long-term outlook about and want to have a stable foundation underneath that's going to bring you in needed and desired changes. And to top all that off, we're going to get another assist this week from Jupiter sextiling the North Node and trining the South Node. It's like, once again, it's sextile, so it's an opportunity that has to be taken, but this is big time help if we want to tap into it, and how do we do that? It's when Jupiter gets involved with the nodes, it's about meeting people halfway. It's about being an honest negotiator, about having a willing attitude to adapt. And if you can do that, you're going to find beneficial connections with others, with groups, with the right partners and groups of people to make things happen. And even the trine to the South Node is showing, once again, just like the Mercury sextile Saturn, that you've learned a lot of stuff and that what needs to be done in a lot of these situations. So really a great opportunity to get that stuff going this week. And no, there's not going to be an immediate payoff. You're thinking long-term here. This is like a long-term investment kind of thing. It's something that is going to bring you benefits. Once they start flowing, it'll start slowly, but it will build and it will last, rather than something that's going to be fly by night and maybe a big up and down kind of unstable situation. And even on Saturday, like I say, it's even going to flow into Saturday. Mercury and Mars are both involved with Juno that day. Mercury conjuncting Juno, Mars conjuncting Juno, and Mercury sextiling Juno, which once again represents partnerships. So it's like, partnerships are bringing in these opportunities to motivate us to move forward, to connect and make changes, and then can create these productive enterprises, these fruitful type of endeavors, lively, passionate energy brought in together. So that can be used on those kinds of projects to inject that energy. If you find the right partner or the right groups to partner with and do that, it can really be beneficial, with Jupiter hitting that nodal axis. So we have a lot of assists, is my point. Mars Saturn can be tough. It can be a tough assignment, but there's a lot of other stuff this week that's balancing what, and just having you take a serious look at well, you got yourself in that position, but somehow too, you've learned a lot. So now, you can apply that experience to what this, whatever long-term thing you want to create and have stability with. So great week for that. So like I said, 2 planets changing signs too. Venus will be going into Pisces and Mercury will be going into Taurus. And Venus goes into Pisces Tuesday, Mercury goes into Taurus Sunday. So I think this will finally chill like relationship stuff out a little bit. Like relationships since December have been definitely, and maybe even prior to that, might even be able to go back to last August, where, went through the exact double hit of the real close last 2 exact hits of the Pluto Eris square and all that Scorpio energy, including the Mercury retrograde, then going right into Venus retrograde in December, in Capricorn, and now the last month with Mars and Venus together in Aquarius, asking, relationships to really up their game. So there's been a lot of really intense energy in the relationship world for now, what is it, 7 months, at least. So, and I think this will help, ease some of that off. Venus into Pisces is exalted there. So Venus is very happy in Pisces and gets into this very idealistic romantic state, and really is interested in merging with others and connecting with others and somehow, having ideals in relationships get appealed to, and therefore also really boosting inspiration and imagination and creativity, so that, get a lot of like new ideas and visions about how things can be, brings a lot of compassion and empathy and love for others into the equation too, like, and really feel a closeness with your family and friends of wanting to take care of them, and vice versa, getting that attitude, getting that energy back from them, being helpful with one another, and you really, and Venus is in Pisces too. We really we have a lot of tolerance and stuff, but we also like to be with people who have similar beliefs that we do. And the biggest issue with Venus in Pisces is to continue to have clear boundaries that there may be some people who are not worth helping, which is can be difficult to to process and understand. But but the love that people are showing each other in Venus and Pisces is very genuine, and it comes on this very friendly level, and like I said, can be very artistic too. This is very, Venus is in charge of our creativity, our daily creativity too, so it can really inject a lot of our ideals into our creativity every day during the 3 weeks or so that Venus will be in Pisces. And then on Sunday, Mercury goes into Taurus, which is actually one of the signs Venus rules. So it's kind of interesting, that it kind of Mercury kind of gets in a Venusian kind of zone once it goes into Taurus. And, and I think the biggest difficulty for Mercury in Taurus is the mind. Mercury and the intellect normally likes to move very quickly. And when it goes into Taurus, it really puts the brakes on. It's like it goes from the passing lane into the slow lane, and really wants to think things out before it decides. And for certain people that can almost seem like, well, what's wrong with this person? Are they slow? Are they not able to comprehend what's going on around them? And it's like, no, actually the Mercury and Taurus energy just brings a natural proclivity to slow things down and really think things through. It's very serious, actually, because part of the thing with Taurus is that, it's stubborn, and it really likes to stay fixed on what it knows works. And it's a very material earth sign. So it's it doesn't want anything that's bringing stability to be rocked at all. So it wants to make sure the mind is not going to, jump to some conclusion that could have negative results or unstable type results. So the decision-making processes during Mercury and Taurus are very grounded and the feelings, feelings count a lot for Taurus too. It's like body type feelings, but they're gonna really, the thinking is going to be affected by the way people feel right now. But just like a lot of other earth signs too, Taurus is an expert at the as the other earth signs are, at using tools and its hands to advance what it is doing once it does make the decision. So I think, this, once again, Mercury going into Taurus is going to aid that step-by-step process that the Mars-Saturn conjunction is asking for success in this year. And then the last thing I want to mention to Mercury also is on Sunday, Mercury is squaring Pluto too. And, that just like it shows like we're going to really take a deep look at ourselves, this weekend coming up, and in our own inner psyche. All the things that have been maybe shifting and changing are going to be, there's going to be a lot of processing of that stuff. And it can get obsessive for sure, but for the most part, it quiets people down. It doesn't get like as inflammatory on an outside thing. I mean, with close people who are close with one another, and they're sharing like deep, intimate, emotional stuff, it may be challenging at times because the energy is like intense, and you can try to get like almost coercive with your statements about trying to convince the other that the way you're seeing things is the correct way. So like it can be like an obsessed mind, but it can also bring great focus because of that into our own self-reflection and get a lot of inner psyche type work, depth psychology, things like even astrology, even looking at your astrology and like, really maybe seeing another layer underneath the stuff that's driving you. So yeah, so that'll be Sunday too. So all right, that's about will do it for this week's forecast. This is a free service. It's on YouTube every week. And if you have a YouTube account, just become a follower of the Astrological Winds channel and turn on your notifications, and you'll know when it's posted. Since it is a free service, I would ask that if you know of anyone who you even think might be interested in checking the blog out, please send them the link too. And I always welcome donations also of any size. Otherwise, I'm a professional astrologer. Been doing readings for over 20 years. If you'd like to get a reading done, all types of readings, I recommend you start with your birth chart or natal reading, and then definitely get in a predictive reading every year, which is your own personal weather report as to the way the stars this year are affecting your chart. Those are two regulars, but relationship charts, children's charts, fixed star readings for deeper look at soul purpose, elections for when you're looking to launch something and get the best timing of the event, energy-wise, horary questions, if you really have a burning emotional question that you can't seem to get an answer with. All those things are available, and classes too. I've got 5 beginners classes. Any of that stuff, if you're interested, drop me an email, matthure823 at gmail.com, matthure823 at gmail.com, or leave me a comment in one of the comment sections on the blog, and I'd probably see it, and we could just touch base from there. The blog is available also on all kinds of podcasts. No reason to actually see the video. It's usually just me or a chart. So hearing is the most important thing. And not even, if you're not a big astrology person, don't even listen to the astrology part. What you need to hear is what the energy represents. That's what you want to focus on. That's the important knowledge that can help you out. Yeah, so that does it. That just about does it for this week. We'll have a weekly report next week, and we're going to have a full moon, I believe, next week in Libra. So that should be interesting. And until then, like I said, take the steps this week to start, whatever that long term thing that you want to have stable in your life is, or things. This is the week to get it going.